By the way, for those of you who joined us in the beginning, and we haven't explained it, Jeff and Church are doing Handmaid's Tale cosplay.
Right.
We explained that while the audio was out, and then Jeff had come in and sat down, and I love that for the last 30 minutes, Jeff has been with a completely straight face, just being Jeff, and he has this fucking ridiculous beard. It's pretty funny. But that's,
my beard is itchy because it's fake, and I've got spirit gum on, and there's mesh. But how do you guys all have beards?
It's terrible.
You're wearing a big old thing on your face all the time. It's like I want to blow my brains out.
My grandmother hates it.
Yeah, me too.
She yells at me.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, because kissing you is less sensual?
No, she says that men with beards are inherently less handsome. It's like an old way of thinking. She's like, you guys are gross.
Did you tell her that old women are less attractive?
No.
Well, then that's called privilege. You can just kick back and enjoy it.
She's
like, yeah, Grandma, you got it. I'm a real ugly piece of shit. Wink, wink to God.
Every other conversation.
Paper flesh isn't gross at all. No one has a right to shame you for that because it's not a choice. You're just melting.
She's being old school because Jewish Paul Newman wouldn't have a beard.
I'm sorry.
Paul Newman was Jewish.
Yeah, but you're like the Jewish Paul Newman.
Paul Newman could never be as Jewish as you.
Huh.
No matter how hard he tried.
I don't think he went to temple as much as you did.
I don't... He probably went to temple more than me.
Do you love your grandma?
Yeah, she's great.
Do you think she's an attractive person?
Like, physically?
Yeah. She went there.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
Don't do that to me.
Don't do that to you. How about we live in a society where reason is God and rule of law governs the land?
She wants me to
we don't judge people by whether like why are grandmas grandfathered in? Well, I could because they're grandmas. But it's like, they're like, oh, you're so cute. You know what? I wonder how much of the fucking patriarchy is upheld by grandmas who are like, oh, you're so attractive.
All of it.
When are you going to get married? When are you going to look better? Why don't you show some leg? Like grandmas sound like Don Draper. Oh. The specter of inequality is...
We went to church, took me to Adam Levine's annual Halloween party, and I carried around, dressed as Commander Fred from Handmaid's Tale with my Scrabble box. And I think only 4 people laughed at that.
Were there a lot of... I think there was an early prediction that was going to be... That Halloween was going to be like an army of handmaids.
I've seen 3, and I've been to numerous parties.
Yeah, Ricky Lindholm was there. Ricky from Garfunkel from Garfunkel and Oates. She was there as a handmaid. And there was a couple others.
There was a couple who were the commander and the commander's wife who had a blow-up doll dressed as a handmaid in between them.
They
boy.
kept fucking it. It was really good.
I have so many questions about that show.
I was surprised. I can tell you what. How many people were at that party? A few hundred?
No, more like 1,000.
Okay, and I was surprised I didn't see any Rick and Morty costumes. But that's kind of a Hollywood rock and roller.
We did see them at Lucha Vivum.
Well, I mean,
I got texted 100 pictures of people.
Okay, good. Well, because I was like, I remember the year when there were none, and then the year when there were 1,000, and I don't know, within that year, I don't know. Yeah, if it was like,
it's got to be one of the most popular costumes this year.
What there is? Harmon Quest costumes.
Oh yeah.
Well, at the Starburns party that we had, there were literally, because the entire art department of Harmon Quest, like they coordinated. There was an army of Spencers. I'm sure you already know that.
Yeah.
By now. Does that make you feel better or worse about not coming to the party?
Worse. I tried to go to the party. I tried to go 3 times.
But Mario Odyssey came out.
That wasn't why I didn't.
You were too busy putting that cheese in your seat.
Yeah, I was
what
fucking...
What was the reason? Will you share it?
I was like, I was scared or anxious. Like, I drove up to Park and, yeah.
You went all the way there?
Yeah, no, 3 times I went all the way there.
What?
This is, I mean, do you mind? Can we talk about it?
Yeah.
So talk about like what goes through your mind that like makes the difference between parking the car and going into a party. continuing on, like what are the? I'm trying to figure out a better way to rephrase this so that you can answer easy questions.
I don't know. It's hard because it's not like. I don't know. I've had anxiety where it is like a conversation, where it's like, if you go in, they're going to be mean or, whatever. And it wasn't like that. Lately, it's just been more just like a pressure upwelling. It's like, I'm going to do this. And then you just get there and it's like, I don't know.
Are
it's
you more worried about, if you, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this so that because based on my experience, if you had a button in your hand that was the amount of pressure on the button created more or less attention on you, more or less people demanding answers from you about how you're doing and how you've been and all this stuff, it would you like how hard I guess you're not afraid of obscurity. That's not you're afraid of attention, right?
I don't know. I mean, when you're saying the button, it's like I think it's both. Like I'm thinking. It's like I'm worried about. I don't know. Like when I was trying to park, I saw all these people outside, and I was like, I'm gonna have to get past these people to get to the party, and like that in its own was like a thing. But it's not like I didn't not want to talk to those people, and I wanted to go to the party because I did want to talk to people. So it's not like I didn't want to be noticed and I wanted to be noticed, or it's like it's both, but it's not either or neither. But it's
kind of lack of control over a social situation where it's like if you're obscure. Like I remember being 25 and like the Channel 101 days, it's like we all went to each other's parties because it was sort of an orgy of the more attention the better, and actually we're all on the same level and we can all just like pay attention to each other and nobody's really like suffering, and then but like it for me it's a control issue where I'm like, actually I have nothing to gain anymore and no camaraderie to achieve. I only have maybe people that I'd like to talk to, and then a whole shit ton of people that I can either disappoint or ignore.
Right.
I like that sounds like I'm casting it in terms of like you think you're a rock star.
It is that though, because I don't feel like the camaraderie you say. Like I don't feel like I'm gonna go to this party and I will feel closer to these people as a result. Like that might be true, but that's not what I feel going into it. It's just like this could be fun, and then that quickly gets consumed by everything else.
When the sense of responsibility comes in, or like obligation, when you look at like a little bit of a minefield of like eight groups of people, and you're like, you know what? I'm never gonna like, and then you find yourself in a conversation with somebody, and you're like, shit, I don't know when to leave or if I should want to leave.
Yeah,
I could push a button in my head that made me want to talk to you about avionics for the next hour and a half. I really could. But at a certain point, my wife might come up and be like really upset that I've been talking about avionics for 90 minutes. Or I might find out that everybody left the party. Or I might I don't know. There's a bunch of people I didn't see, friends of mine and stuff. I'm like, I don't know when. Every conversation is a weird fencing match, except instead of people trying to stab each other, it's like people trying to hug each other, and so you can spend an indeterminate amount of time, and every single conversation can only really end gracefully or ungracefully by somebody saying, "Well, I've decided I'm done talking to you, so I'm going to go talk to someone else," which doesn't feel very genuine. Because it's not practical, because it would be better to say, well, I've enjoyed talking to you, but I have to save a kitten from a tree. But to say, I've enjoyed talking to you, but I'm bored now. Or I want to see if there's someone better to talk to.
I sort of did that last night.
I mean, that's what we're doing all the time to each other at parties. And there's people who know how to handle that gracefully, and I feel more kinship with Spencer. I'm like, I
use the good old fashioned, hey, I'll be right back, I have to go pee.
Yeah, because you're the guy that is able to leave. You're not the guy that's struggling to not lose at a party. You're always winning.
Well, I mean, I have my own version of anxiety there, but like,
but just because Jeff said He says, I gotta go pee. So why can't you and I say, I gotta go pee? Do you lie? You don't have to pee that much. So
but
you lie.
people leave us in conversations, right?
I'm comfortable saying,
sorry.
Hey, I'll be right back. Or, hey, I'm going to go over and say hi to my friend over there I just saw.
You're comfortable.
But that's more key. But that's why I wanted to address that, because it's not true what you initially said. You don't just tell everybody you're going to go pee.
I will say this. If
you are more comfortable saying the truth, which is,
if I'm being
see you later.
If I'm being cornered by a jerk, like you're at the drawing room and some guy just won't get off your ass, I am very comfortable lying and say, oh God, I got to go take a shit. I'll be back in 4 years. Sure. I'll say whatever it takes to get away from somebody who's punishing me. But
if they're engaged in a social crime on their own,
yes,
either they're so drunk, or crazy, but then selfish.
Depending on how little I'm afraid of getting punched or a drink thrown at me, I'll just say, "Hey, I'm going to go hang out with other people," and just bone the fuck out. But the thing that you said, Spencer, about like pulling up and seeing a crowd, like. I have my own thing about, it's not like, oh my God, I got to walk through a crowd and everyone's going to stop me. Like, it's not like that. It's not like I'm so rad that's going to be a bummer. But there's times when you just don't want to walk through a crowd and you might just want to be able to get from point A to point B without being stopped, and you can't be in control of that.
Right.
Like when I do like comedy shows, I disappear after the show. Like like when we do on the Harmon tour and stuff like that, when the show's over, I usually find a place to be alone. Like I need that few minutes just to go hide, see if Church texted, like just be complete. Like I don't want to be around the sound of maybe being asked to talk or do a thing. But I am a jerk, so I'm not uncomfortable wearing the black hat if I really have to get out of a situation.
I don't think it won't pay in this analysis for us to. Like there's no good or bad. It's just, but it's worth examining because I observe about myself. I'm like, well, if you do a live show and then you're Santa Claus and there's a line of people, it's like there are moments when I feel like this is how I'm comfortable, and the reason is because it's orderly and it requires an introduction. And at a party, I think there's just like people. It's like people go like, hey. How are you? Like I don't know. It's just so freeform. It's like orgiastic, and I start to freak the fuck out, and I spend every conversation that I have at a party, like I hold my drink, like, and if it's in a plastic cup, as last night, it's like it's like the cup splits open very early on because I'm squeezing it, and it doesn't matter who I'm talking to. It's just like because I'm always thinking like. What are you supposed to do? When is this supposed to end? Is this going on too long? What am I supposed to say? Am I being a bad person or a good person? Where's Cody? What am I doing? What am I doing? Why am I doing this?
I think maybe I've mentioned this before on the show, but like I think a long time ago, and you were my friend when this happened, I just started wearing suits all the time. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a social cue body armor thing. That people tend to leave me a little bit more alone. Well, I think I get to call the shots on that a little bit more.
Well, it also, I think that when you get up in the morning, because when you commit to being a suit guy, even though it seems second nature to you, when you get up in the morning, like there's social laws against leaving your house without a minimum amount of clothing on, and Spencer and I are wearing the minimum amount of clothing. Like we're wearing, which means that we actually get up out of bed and we go over to a pile of clothes.
Bombfell, who never gave me my goddamn clothes.
Let's not get too distracted.
Okay.
But when I think that's I'm pitching, I guess the advantage socially of having a style is because you actually, like on Halloween, like you wake up every morning and you put an amount of attention. You put on a suit of armor, mm-hmm. and it doesn't have to be about armor protecting the real you from the outside world. Like that's disingenuous. It's more about like that's also actually the important thing is that you're acknowledging every morning that the reason you're leaving your house is to interact with other people, and not to put words in your mouth, but Spencer and I don't do that.
Right.
We get up out of bed and we go, the reason I'm leaving my house is because I have to. I have an appointment. And so I'm going to put this potato sack on with holes in it for my arms because otherwise I'll get arrested. And it casts a kind of pall over the whole thing. Meanwhile, you're going like, it's in the way that you use it.
But also,
and then every interaction you have, there's a little bit of license for you
to be alone,
to perform.
Or I with a stern look, or like a.
Well, sure, there's that too.
I can be completely alone in public in a suit. I can also, like I've said before, my impression of myself is, everybody can have everyone's attention. Please leave me alone. And that's like, I get up, hey, everybody look at me. Now fucking shut up. and I want to, like, I bring earplugs wherever I go because I like to read in public, which is self-destructive and stupid. Because I'm always mad that people are talking. It's like, why did you just get an armchair and read at home?
Yeah, I guess I've kind of said also, though, that when I go over to my pile of 800 Rick and Morty t-shirts and my 3 pants that do or don't fit depending on how many Twinkies I've had that year, like, I always have this swirling thoughts in my head about whether or not I care, whether or not people like the way I look and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And you cut through that before you enter the world because you are formalizing your getting dressed. You're going, I'm going out into the world. And when I'm going out into the world, I'm an ambassador of myselfness to the otherness. And so that means that if someone comes up to me and says, hey, man, you want to buy a potato for $3? I don't know what that character is. I don't know what race he is. I'm sorry for all the emails I'm going to get.
Also, that must be a good potato. A $3 potato.
Also, we added an article to dollars. But you can not only, because it's part armor, part performance, all this stuff. It's like when we do MeUndies ads and we talk about the first decision you make when you get out of bed is, are you going to put on cotton underwear that are like, oh, I got to protect my nuts from my own pants, or are you going to sheathe them in glorious micromodal, which actually says to you, the important person to say it to, I love my nuts being cradled in.
Yeah,
I didn't mean for that.
Well, I mean, I think like
synergy to happen.
Right.
There's these. We've talked about it before, I'm sure. That there's 2 great books by Quentin Crisp. One's called Doing It with Style, and one's called How to Have a Lifestyle. And it's about what is style. And personal style doesn't mean fashion. It doesn't mean money. It doesn't mean sex. It doesn't mean power. It's self-knowledge.
How you're carrying yourself to other people, to have a camera on yourself. Yeah. Like
I'm sure I'm repeating myself, but as Quentin Crisp said, someone asked him, what is style? And he said, style is being yourself only on purpose.
Right.
And so that takes a level, like you can be homeless with style. You can be, it doesn't have to be fancy pants. Like, it's simply who you are. Like, Spencer, you have style.
I got style, baby.
You have so much style that 9 people can show up at a Halloween party dressed as you, and everyone goes, oh, fuck, we're all Spencers today.
Right. It's just aesthetically terrible, but it's a style.
No, but like you like when you on Harmon Quest pop out of the wilderness wearing your lumberjack shirt and your shorts, like, you're impersonatable.
Right.
Because I think it's absolutely okay, and for me, beneficial to have a uniform. Like, I have a lot of clothes in my place, and I don't wear any of them. I wear my suits, I wear my black shoes, I wear my dress shirts, and then I've got a million t-shirts that I wear at home. And then the only time I'm ever not in a suit, I'm wearing one other outfit. And I just realized, like, one day, it's like, I'm sick of picking fucking clothes out in the morning. Yeah. Like, for me, I just want to make sure that the dry cleaner, like the stuff that I know I'm going to want that week is ready to go. And my closet is like Einstein's, basically. It's just a bunch of blue and gray suits and a lot of white shirts. And I find that really relaxing. That's something I don't want to spend time really thinking about. As much as I like clothes, I don't want to think about the variety. I just like a nice dark suit with a white shirt and black shoes.
Right. But somebody who's like, the t-shirt culture, which we all live in, like, t-shirts once upon a time were like underwear, and now they've become a thing you can put on.
I feel incredibly nude going to the market in a t-shirt, like when it's 900,000 degrees out, like it's been for the last couple of weeks. I feel like I'm basically walking to the supermarket like in a bathing suit.
I think the key is, like, as I said, like my therapist has said, like, that the new era that we're entering, hopefully that it's different, that the large theme is unconscious versus conscious, and so it's like it's possible to be unconscious and get up in the morning and go like, I'm gonna pull this Idiocracy shirt from this dispenser and throw it on myself, and that's fine. It's like no one's. We're used to the bad guys being people that tell you what you should wear, but somewhere in there, it's like there's so many things that we don't think about that then we're like worried about, and like for me and Spencer, and I suppose probably 99% of our listenership, it's like conversations with people, small talk, like grace, tact, square dancing of conversation where you could just go, hey, it's nice talking to you. I'm like, wouldn't you love knowing that, like, hey, I'd love talking to you, and now I'm going to love talking over there. I'm going to walk away. It's like everyone would respond to that and they'd be totally fine with that. But I don't have those things. I've been living in a society so luxurious that I've been able to slither this far, while the entire time maintaining that I don't know how to talk to people, don't know how to dress, don't know how to think about race, gender, all of these things, being myself but on purpose. I've been able to be myself on accident. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty luxurious thing.
Yeah, but
it also it results in all these like, oh shit, I have mold between my big toe and my little toe. Well, yeah, no shit. Like, You've not thought about a single thing that you've ever done.
Mold between your big toe and little toe means all the way across.
It means none of your toes exist. I got derailed by my own fucking thing.
No, I mean, like church has style like crazy, and it's like I love it because like we can go out clothes shopping, and like we went the other day to a store that she likes downtown, and like I like going through the racks and looking for stuff for her, and sometimes I'm right and sometimes I'm wrong, but like, and she's like, oh, I love that you, she's like, I like when you go out and like help, like look for stuff, but also like we can have a lot of fun in a clothes store, because it's not that like clothing is your identity, but the execution of our style has something to do with fashion. Yours doesn't. Like the execution of your style and Spencer's style, is not fashion. It's other things. You know, it's more about brains and, you know, and the writing and the products and things like that.
Yeah, and then that's why we murder people.